came at got on at 3 a.m. and just fucking made a
So
couple
for
of
fuck's sake,
adjustments.
Phil. Yeah, this is really inconvenient for me.
Right, I don't know if I should turn on.
Okay. Boom. Oh, we're live, are we? Fucking hell.
Yeah, well, I probably should have said something.
You really need to warn us. Who knows?
No,
I might
it's
just
really
randomly
dark
drop
out.
Caden's address. You know, who knows?
You don't even know where I live.
I mean, you don't know that.
No, you wouldn't be able to.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to share it now because we're live. But of course, like, if I wanted to, you know,
you could.
I could. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I can tell by the sunlight on your back, which is your longitude. I can tell the direction of the sun coming in.
So can I.
Precisely.
You can't
It's
It's coming in
Yeah.
from his left,
Yeah, exactly.
which means
That's
he's
a lot of
in
information. be
somewhere
given away,
in Europe.
It means he's in our time zone.
Yeah, pretty sweat.
We're on to you, Caden.
Absolute greatness.
And we know he has a QLED TV.
Yeah, busted. What's that little pit boy back there? I see. I think it is.
Well, he's not called a pit boy.
He's called a Vault Boy deck, you fucking ignorant slut.
Yeah, come on. You're supposed to be an Xbox fanboy and you don't even know that.
Pit Boy's the thing you have on your wrist.
Yeah.
I haven't really played that much Fallout, so I'm gonna.
Slut.
I think I'll be okay. Actually, coffee pods as well.
Yep.
There we go.
They're brand new yesterday.
He's got a little one-room wonder going on there, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
I only have one room.
Oh,
exactly. I'm on to you, Caden.
You know where I live.
I know everything. All right, but yeah, we are live, so I'm basically ready whenever you are.
Yeah, let's get cooking.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 121 of the Quick Cuisine podcast. Today is the 2nd of December. The Game Awards are next week. But more importantly, your favorite podcasters are podcasting right now. My name's Deck. Shit. So this guy down here, that's Caden. Say hi, Caden.
Hello.
That guy. No, fuck. Yeah, that guy over there, right? Yeah, that guy over there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that guy's Tim. Yeah, he's somewhere.
He was always on the bottom.
Yeah.
Bottom
Oh, that's
bitch.
true, actually. Yeah. Yeah, bottom bitch on you. Yeah.
Bottom bitch.
It's been a reasonably eventful week, you know, in the Xboxing world. We weren't here last week, and last week was really quiet, so that was fine. But there's a couple of like topics, guys, that I've like curated that I think would be quite nice for us, and then also some things that have happened this week. And obviously, Game Awards are coming up next week, so there's a bit of discussion about what's going to be there because Xbox has said, hey, we're going to turn up. So that see what happens, you know. Caden, let's start with you, man. What have you been playing this week? How's it going?
I've had quite a weird week this week. I've been playing a lot of strange little games. So I've been on a work call and I've not wanted to actually be on the work call. I had to be in the work call. So I've been playing like Slay the Spire, Marvel Snap, like a Monster Train, Risk of Rain 2, which was I've missed that game actually. That game's great.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a good game.
But what real game I'm playing? I'm playing the
Real
Talos
game.
Principle at the minute.
But man.
Principle 2, yeah.
The Talos Principle. I've
Yeah,
heard of
it's
that,
a really,
but I
really
can't-
fun, like puzzly game.
Like Portal vibes, isn't it?
Absolute puzzles,
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
And it's really, really good fun. Like the puzzles, you just feel brilliant doing the puzzles, and I just want to feel good about myself, and it does that brilliantly. So really enjoying that so far.
You were having a great time in the party chat last night, I gotta say.
Oh,
Yeah, like every maybe sort of 10 minutes. No, every 5 minutes you'd be like, I can't do it, my brain's not working, my brain ain't working. And then 5 minutes later there'd be like silence, and then it'd go like, I'm a fucking genius, I'm a genius, I'm a genius.
It'd be something so simple, like you just got to put it on the other side of the ball, but you can't think like that at the time because you're just so overwhelmed. Oh, and so I'm just scrolling through my games now, and I played Rollerdrome for like 10 minutes, and I'm so excited to play that game.
Yeah, I'm quite buzzed to play that.
I have
I've
no
got it
idea
downloaded.
what that fucking game is. I know that it looks fun, but I don't know what it is.
Tony Hawk cross with
Max Payne.
Max Payne, yeah.
Oh, so it's like a shooter, is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it like a PvP? Like
No.
you're against another team? No.
It's like a time trial kind of like challengey kind of thing. It's like you've got like a skate park, and you have to like score points and shoot everyone in the map, kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
Sounds fun.
that's kind of been my week. I'm just
awesome.
excited to get all these little games finished. So yeah, that's me at the minute.
That's what we call on this podcast. On this podcast, that's what we call a hodgepodge week, isn't it?
Hodgepodge.
A hodgepodge week, yeah.
Yeah, we have referenced that a few times.
Famously known. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mate, what on your first hodgepodge week?
I have many hodgepodge weeks. Well, no,
Yeah.
officially, I suppose not.
Yeah.
Officially. Oh, and Remnant 2 DLC.
Oh yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah. I've been meaning to dip back into that because we've just got that. We bought the season pass, so I've stayed away review wise. I don't know how it's doing, but I'm sure it's doing great because the game's phenomenal and they know what they're doing.
Well, as you may not know, but Great Remnant 1 and Remnant 2 just shadow dropped into Game Pass yesterday for Christmas.
Yeah, I did.
Xbox like Merry Christmas, you know.
Yeah,
Never
it's
played
pretty
the
cool.
game. So
I mean, the first game is excellent, but I do think that Remnant 2 just does everything the first one does, but a bit better. So I'd
only be going back to experience not as good of a game.
Yeah, I mean, it does some things maybe a bit better, but
the skill point system is better still, in my opinion.
I'd say maybe just a little bit, but like, I think generally, I think I would recommend people just to go straight to 2, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I can't remember. The only thing I was thinking is like maybe to go back and experience some of the other like worlds, like some of the other dimensions that were in the first one. But because Yeisha, the blue one, the blue foresty one, that was in the first game. But obviously it's different. It's all different in the second one. But there were some other ones that I actually can't remember right now. So maybe they actually aren't as important as I thought they were. But anyway, yeah, I would agree with Tim. Yeah, 2 is overall the better game.
Nice.
I also just wanted to quickly, like, if you're listening to us and you know there's a trio of us this week as we plan to have, you know, most weeks. Caden has a new microphone today. You should be able to hear that. So Caden's just going to very quickly whisper something to your ear.
He does not look happy with you.
We're doing this, are we?
There you go.
There he is.
How nice is that? I mean, you can't tell us we're not committed. Like, that's worthy as at least one like, right?
That was a Black Friday purchase. That was
purchase, and you got like you got a couple more, haven't you? It's good. Send us.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the camera is here. I just haven't
Oh, it's
grabbed
the
it yet.
camera. That was it. That's good. Yeah. I'll just send you my address, and I'll just WhatsApp it to you.
Ping over.
I mean, you know where I live anyway, so
That's true.
Doesn't mean I'm going to pick it out though.
All right, Tim. I don't know if you're a good candidate for this, but how's the game, bro?
I've been playing one game. No, I've been away. I went to go visit Edinburgh, and then for a little break for 5 days, which was phenomenal. And then, as you can probably tell in my voice, I've been sick as well the last week, so I haven't done too much in terms of gaming over the last couple of weeks. But I've been playing Persona 5 Tactica, and that's good fun. I actually really like that. It's the first Persona game I've actually properly sat down and played as well. And there is a lot of stuff I don't understand of like who these people are and stuff like that. They don't like sort of catch you up, but like you can piece it together. You could definitely just play this game as a standalone. 100%. It has like its own little story and its own little world and stuff. But yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, I love my little strategy games and turn-based combat and all that sort of stuff. So it's like one of my favorite genres. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. And I actually played it a fair amount abroad as well on cloud. Because my hotel actually had...
cloud?
I know, right? I bought my little... You're so happy I played cloud. Little thumbs up.
Yeah. That was just spectral projection. That was coming out of my head.
Yeah, because my hotel actually had pretty decent Wi-Fi. They had like sort of 80 meg, you know. So that was actually pretty solid. And I bought my little I can't remember which one I got now.
You got Backbone, don't you?
Yeah, I think I got the Backbone. Yeah. So I bought that and played that on cloud, and yeah, not a single hitch. Yeah, it was great. It was literally just like I was playing it just portable, like on an actual portable console. So that was great fun. And yeah, it's basically just been me, just Persona Tactica.
It's nice that there are some games like that that work really well on cloud, and it's worth holding that thought actually, because we'll kind of be circling back around to this conversation a bit later. But I remember whenever I was playing Gears Tactics, I did the same thing. Like I would hop between console and cloud, and that worked really well. That was great. Those sorts of games are just perfect for cloud. So it's really nice. Like the whole cross save and cross play, it's just the handoff. It just works really, really well when it works.
Yeah. Defo.
Awesome. All right. Well, what have I been playing? I played two things really, mostly. Other than the usual, playing Halo at the moment. I've been playing Warcraft Rumble, which is the mobile game. The Blizzard release.
I got one person on this podcast on Snap this week.
Yeah.
I'm just not in the mood for like a card game right now. Like I can't. It's a big commitment, man.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a pretty low commitment card game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fair enough. But
it's very free to play as well.
Doing well.
It's not too bad, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm still like quite into the whole Warcraft and like Hearthstone sort of thing anyway. And it's like I've never really played any of like the big mobile games. What's like the big one? Clash of Clans.
So
I think people I think people were saying it's kind of like that, but with a Warcraft spin. So I've never played that, but I think it's quite good. This Warcraft Rumble thing, I was just playing it. It's got like quite a nice hook. All the animations are really nice. It's like fairly simple, I'd recommend it. And again, like this is something we're going to be circling back to, like this idea of that Xbox is going to be releasing a mobile store next year. But it's not like it's been reported on officially, but Xbox haven't like made an official announcement of it. But they have said we're working towards this, So I think that's kind of interesting. As I said, we'll circle back to that if we have time. But the other thing I've been playing is Prey Moon Crash, of course, about 15 hours in to Prey Moon Crash.
Nice.
To make up for the sins of Redfall.
I never got back to playing Moon Crash, like when I first initially played Prey. So it might be something I'd circle back to eventually.
It's aged really well, especially because, well, firstly, it's a Deathloop. And secondly, because it has an FPS boost. It has, the hardware thing they did. So you can just run it at 60 frames and it plays great. And I'm like, it makes me mad they didn't keep that going because I loved that FPS boost thing. I played Fallout 4 like in 2021, I think, and I'd never played a Fallout game, and I played that with FPS boost for 30, 60 frames rather than 30, and that was great. But I'm really enjoying Prey Moon Crash, man. Like it's really intelligently made. Like the way the whole thing keeps adding layers as you keep playing is really clever. Like the whole basis is that you're in kind of a simulation and you're playing through different people, and the objective is to escape the moon base with everyone in one run, and everyone escapes in different ways. But really clever. You build up a mental map of like what the whole place looks like. It's not like procedural generation or anything like that, but it was really well done, and I hope they revisit something like that. I know Deathloop was for Arcane Leon, but I don't know if Arcane Austin will revisit that kind of roguelike style. But they nailed it. Like I'm having a really good time so far. It's like I said, it's aged surprisingly well. So I'd recommend anyone to give it a crack if you just fancy it. It's dead cheap in the moment in the store. So yeah.
Yeah, I have heard good things about it. Yeah.
And I still shit myself like twice a day at the Mimics.
I've got like a Mimic coffee mat over there that says I'm not a Mimic.
That's great.
They do just pop out of nowhere, don't they?
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, cool. So that's us. I wanted to start. Last week, guys, was the 10th anniversary of the Xbox One. A launch, I believe. Yeah, the Xbox One launch. Which might be a bit weird to think about, like specifically. We hadn't met you at the time, Caden, but I remember me and Tim watching the reveal, like watching everything go, tits up,
Yeah.
And, you know, still kind of being excited, and then getting. I remember getting our Xbox Ones, and we played Titanfall 2 together. That's like a memory that I have. Titanfall 1, sorry. Like doing this crazy shit, you know, catching bullets and flinging them back at pilots, and thinking this is a good video game. There are lots of good video games around the Xbox One launch. You know, everybody forgets that it was a good software lineup, but the hardware was a bit funky because they did some weird shit. So I just kind of wanted to finish you guys, like the Xbox One generation, like what I mean, I'll go to you first, Ken, because I've spoken about us a little bit. But like, what's your thoughts on that? On reflection, on the launch of Xbox One, you know, coming off the 360, the software, the hardware. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get your vibe on it.
Oh, I can't remember. So, what was the old Xbox One console? Because I've got the Xbox One X literally just down here somewhere.
It was like everybody kept calling it the VCR, didn't they? It was like kind of a shiny, and it had the grid. Half of it was a grid on top, like a vent.
Yeah.
Might be worth quickly googling it.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, touch button. Yeah.
Oh, and that was when like Kinect and stuff was around, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Kinect, of course. It launched with Kinect initially, and then they reversed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was never really. I never had Kinect or anything like that. I know you two had Kinect, didn't you? You both did. Yeah.
So we got it day one. So we got
I
it
remember
bundled
like,
in.
Kinect and stuff like that.
I loved me. Kinect.
Oh, that was when. Was that? Oh, because no. I'm trying to remember. It was a while ago. Yeah. I'm not really too sure what hardware stuff you're talking about, though. Is that the Kinect you're talking about, or?
Well, I suppose I'm just talking about like because there was quite a lot going on with hardware, wasn't there? Like initially there was Kinect bundled in, which got reversed, and then there was going to be like the DRM, like the constant check-ins, like you had to be checked in once every 24 hours to an internet connection. And that was the kind of the cons, and the pros of that is that you could kind of share games with like a lot of people, and demos up to 10 people was kind of the promised thing. You know, but they reversed that ultimately as well, and as part because they architected the console around Kinect and the DRM, its specs were weaker, and that ended up, you know, you might remember the big thing was Call of Duty Ghost launching and being at 720p on the Xbox One. Oh no, 900p on the Xbox One and 1080 on the PlayStation, and that was like a big, that created a lot of drama. You know, the PlayStation was essentially cheaper and more powerful. Like it created a really easy message. You know, and it's just curious, you know, like because these days I don't think people would really bat an eye at, you know, a 180p difference across the consoles, but back then it was kind of a big deal. So I'm just curious, kind of, you know, or even like if it's easier to answer, like what, like on the whole generation, right? Like, was it kind of a complete failure to you in the way that people speak about it, or was it an okay time, or you know, what do you think?
Because I don't think I had a PS4 until late in the PS4's existence.
Same.
So like, I guess I didn't really notice it personally. I don't know. I'm trying to think back because I don't think I was like as invested in the whole like kind of exclusivity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really have anything to compare it to at that time.
Yeah. Sure. So you didn't have a Kinect then? Am I right? You didn't. So you okay?
Yeah, I think I bought the first bundle without a Kinect. Like it came bundled with maybe Titanfall, something like that. It was like a bundle version without the Kinect. I remember that because I wasn't day one. Yeah, sorry, I can't really remember too much about then.
No, I mean, I think
I do remember the whole like marketing like fight between the two, like the jokes between like how to share games and stuff like that. I think, but yeah.
Well, this is it. This is quite interesting, though, isn't it? That like, because often in like internet circles, it's spoken about like it's kind of it was some sort of catastrophic apocalyptic event. But then we ask Caden, who's a gamer with a capital G, and can't remember. No biggie. All right, yeah, you might remember the video. That was obviously the probably the viral thing of the whole thing. But then there was also like, you know, loads of games. So like even on, you know, reflecting back, not even when we were necessarily thinking about exclusivity at the time, but there were games like Rise, which was kind of mid but a good showcase. Dead Rising, Sunset Overdrive was in the it was a few years later actually, but still in the Xbox One gen. Quantum Break, some others that I'm forgetting. Obviously, Timefall. So like the games were good, but yeah, it's just interesting to think back. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I have very fond memories of the Xbox One when it first launched. Like I know it wasn't a massive success or anything, but I genuinely quite enjoyed it, and I think like Hayden said, we weren't really in the whole like the camp of like, you know, what's exclusive, what isn't, what belongs to what consoles or anything like that. We weren't as hardcore about it, so it was kind of just pick up and go. You know, this one looks kind of fun. This one has some games on it. Plus I came from 360, so you know I just stuck with Xbox. You know, I knew Halo, I knew Gears, I knew all that sort of stuff. But I'll always remember getting it on its release day from Argos because I think I was like literally like refreshing the page to get one, and one came in stock. And I literally reserved it and then went with my mum to go pick it up at the Argos depot or whatever. And then even he was literally just like, he was like, how the hell did you get this? He was just like, we haven't had like stock on this. He was like, I'm pretty sure this must be like an error on the website or something. And he goes around back and he comes back with it, and he was literally just like, no, it's here, you have it somehow. And he was literally like, I checked like the records of stuff coming in, and he was like, we had a shipment of one Xbox come in this morning, and you managed to get it by just refreshing the site. And he was like, I don't know how the fuck you did that. And then
so
yeah,
funny.
and then I grabbed that, and it was literally like right around Christmas time as well. So everyone was like, I was holding very tightly onto it in case I got mugged. And yeah, I got that with Dead Rising 3, and went home, plugged it in, set it up, played that. Moved shortly onto Rise, which I thought was great. I always thought Rise was such a good game and really unfairly reviewed and looked at. Genuinely thought Rise was fantastic. So yeah, on its initial release, yeah, I didn't take much notice of the PR blunders until later on in its life cycle or anything, and I have very fond memories of it. Yeah. Plus, I loved the Connect. I loved all the
That's so
shitty
fun.
gestures and the snapping and the squeezing and all that kind of stuff. It was janky, but to me, it was very unique and still quite like innovative. I don't know. I was like, "This is the future, man." And they were like, "We're not doing it anymore." And I was like, "Oh, it's not the future."
Yeah, it's so funny. Like for those who are like maybe listening and not watching, that we have like this running joke because you know you might remember with the Connect, you could like change apps by pinching your screen by like grabbing the edge of
Yeah,
your screen and doing like a squeezing gesture.
yeah.
And so me and Tim like always do this like sort of like to get out of something.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, and you could like just flick, you know, like you do on a Mac with the trackpad. It was like your two fingers, and then you swipe across.
Yeah,
You could do that if you
you're
just
right.
raised your hand and then it registered it, and then you squeeze like that, and then you could just brush things across and like change
Yes, it was.
apps and stuff like that.
It
Well, it's
laid
kind of cool.
laid the path for VR, I suppose. How huge VR is nowadays. It was just maybe too much too early, I think.
I think that's actually what it
Definitely.
was. I think they bit off more than they could chew, trying to make this all-in-one fucking entertainment system with like touch gestures and fucking all this kind of stuff, and also trying to compete on just a general hardware level with something like the PlayStation. Yeah, yeah,
Do you
too
guys
much.
remember a game, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare?
Oh yeah, we
Yes.
played that. Yeah,
They
it's
had a
great.
huge like weapon configuration screen, and you could like
Yeah.
blow up the gun, and
Yeah.
like you could grab all different parts. Like I remember that. I think it's 360, but like still Connect, where you could like grab different parts of the gun and like move it around and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like Minority Report kind of like
It's so cool.
thing going
Yeah,
on. Like that's a
That's
cool
fun.
idea.
yeah. Future
Yeah.
Soldier, I think it was called. Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Oh yeah, might have been. Yeah.
No, because maybe
I think it was called that.
I think there is one called Future Soldier, but there's another one called Advanced Warfighter, if I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting this whole because the whole post mortem on Connect is really interesting because, like you say, there is like I don't really know if not touch, like motion controls have ever really found a place properly. I think the only place they've really ever again, I don't really know this motion, but like I was going to say, like maybe music games or maybe your niche Nintendo game.
Well, the Wii was crazy successful, wasn't it?
It was, but that was in spite of the motion, in my opinion. Like they just had fucking baller. They had baller software, and like they did make some good use of it. Don't get me wrong. Like Wii Sports was like one of the highest bought games ever. So, so like clearly they had some success there because it's really accessible. It gets people in the door. I think that's the interesting thing. Like parents buy it for their kids and they just fucking swing shit around. Smash the TV, and that's fine. But the Kinect was like, I don't think it was quite advanced enough. The tech was just not quite there for games. But again, like I don't really know if gamers actually wanted that. I know but they were going for this kind of all-in-one entertainment system, and it's we always say like, oh, look where we are now. Everybody's got an Alexa or an Echo. You're like, and there was that whole controversy of like, they're listening. They're always listening, aren't they? Bill Gates is going to get you. And then everybody went out and bought, all these home devices. So, it's kind of interesting how that works. Arguably they were a bit ahead of the curve on that. And the tech wasn't quite there, and they bungled the messaging. So it just made it this thing that was just like impossible to sell, but I think one thing I really think of, especially with where we are now and the conversations we'll have today about kind of where Xbox is going, is that coming off the 360, Xbox has always been like trying to do their own thing. Yeah, like do something a bit different. Like the 360 was for sure, it was just a green version of the PlayStation. That's what it was because they wanted to get a foothold in the console market. And since then, they've been kind of, even with the Xbox One, they've been trying to do something a bit different. So it's interesting when we think about them opening up with cloud, buying these publishers, with doing the Game Pass and everything else that we'll touch on later. But any other sort of like closing thoughts on the Xbox One generation, the Xbox One launch? I just thought it was quite interesting because we obviously met as well, didn't we? Like shortly after that on Destiny. So yeah, just final opportunity.
Not really. Not apart from that, I'm just very grateful for it, to be honest. Without that, and grabbing that console or deciding if I went on a PlayStation, there are lots of people I wouldn't met, lots of games I wouldn't have played. So no, as much as it, like I said, we know it was a bit of a PR blunder and the generation was shit. Like to me, it was it's still very special, and I look at it very, very fondly personally. But yeah. That's about it.
I do also think of it in the way of like, if Xbox One had to die to get us here, then like kind of so be it, because I think they've done a lot of good things, and it's taken them a while. Microsoft is a slow ship to turn around, but like some of those years were painful, like the 2016, 2017 through to 2019 really were like, oh no, because especially that was when PlayStation started cooking. Like they properly, somebody was in the kitchen fucking with a big chef out on, and they started cooking. So it really started to look bad. But with where we are now, it's a lot different. So yeah, I'm with you, Tim. It's if it had to be that way, then it had to be that way. All right. Killer Instinct Anniversary Edition came out this week. Just wanted any quick takes on that. Kane, you played it a little bit, didn't you? I've downloaded it, but I haven't touched it yet. Any thoughts on that?
So I'm going to start my thoughts initially on the game before I saw the update. It's such a unique fighting game, like because I've pretty much played every fighting game under the sun. I've played anime, I've played teams, I've played 3D, 2D. I've played them all. KI does something very different in regards to like design and combos and combo breakers and stuff. It's such a weird little process.
Can you sorry to just like interrupt you. Can you like explain it to me like I'm 5? Like, because I don't understand. Like, explain it to me like I'm fucking 5 years old, dribbling. What's like, why is Killer Instinct different? Like, in basic terms.
Okay, so let's say me and you are fighting, right?
Yes.
And I've got you pinned on the floor and I'm punching you in your face, right?
Sounds a bit personal. A little bit personal, but yeah. Okay, go on.
I'm winning. I win.
Clearly, yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. And that's pretty much most fighting games. KI has a weird, like, kind of rock, paper, scissors kind of combo breaking system. And it's entirely built around that. So every character is pretty much busted. So in order to counter that, they have a combo breaking system where, okay, I'm doing a light attack. Oh, you break light, we break the combo. but then I could be like, oh, he's going to break my light combo, so I'm going to counter break his break. It's fucked.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really-
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not a normal thing in a fighting game. Typically, it's if you're winning or in a winning situation, you're rewarded.
Mm.
I
The
see.
KI is like betting all the time. You're like gambling the entire game. You're making so many like quick little-
Interesting.
It's really
Hey,
strange.
that's really
Um,
interesting.
But so I played it a couple weeks ago before this update came out, and yeah, really really cool. But it's kind of it runs pretty bad and it was pretty ugly. Like
Yeah.
there's no way around it. It's an old game, so it is what it is. This
2014.
update
Yeah.
came along. They changed all the character art, as in like the profile pics. It obviously runs a lot smoother. It looks. I couldn't believe how much of an upgrade it's had. So like, I want to jump on it at the minute. But the only reason I'm not is because I'm just waiting for like Tekken 8 and stuff like that. So kind of I don't want to overload fighting game brain with too many things. But if you two jump on, I'll be more than happy to jump on and mess around.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a go.
I think I
I've
would like
always-
to. I think I
yeah.
would like to. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Killer Instinct. Just on the sense that apart from Mortal Kombat, I never really clicked with anything else. So Killer Instinct was quite, I don't know, just nice in that regard to actually capture my attention in that sort of genre. So yeah, no, I'm definitely interested to give it a go. I have to swing it on download this weekend. Yeah, give it a real go. So is the what kind of upgrade are we talking here? So we're talking frame boost, we're talking resolution,
All of
are we
it, all
talking
of it.
actual graphical tweaking as well, or have they like just rezzed everything up?
Rezzed up, frames up.
Okay.
So just those two combined makes everyone look brilliant.
Okay.
There's a few new artwork in regards to when you go to fighting game, you see the whole screen of all the characters.
Yeah.
They've changed all like the profile pics so that it just looks nice. It's
Oh,
nice
so
to
you
look
cleaned
at.
up the UI and stuff like that,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
modernized
UI,
the
there we
UI.
go, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And if they, I'm guessing they probably put in like obviously more servers, better netcode, that sort of thing, with more people coming on board.
Oh, rollback. It's got rollback now as well.
Yeah. Oh,
But does
okay.
it? Or am I
Cool.
thinking of Dragon Ball?
Well, one of the things people say about Killer Instinct is that it has one of the best netcodes around. I don't know if you would agree, Ken.
When it first came out, like it came out years ago, and it had great netcode then. Obviously not brilliant, but at the time it was miles above everyone else.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everyone's got good netcode, really. Especially after COVID, they realized how important playing online was, so they're just like, right, well, everyone wants good netcode, so we'll do that. Which is kind of why MK is not doing too well at the minute. But we'll get Another thing I wanted to touch on KI was what makes it so unique is me and you, Dave, we had a little chat, like how interesting the characters are, like.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, but I just wanted to read our.
Yeah,
I just wanted to read our chat out real quick. Hang on. So this is what I randomly just popped in our chat. Man, I love the designs in Killer Instinct. In the same minute, Caden replies, "I've been watching someone play it for the past half an hour. I'm so tired of man with arms punch, women with legs kick. I want a fucking a robot velociraptor or a fucking werewolf." And then I say, "What's a man gonna do to get a robot velociraptor around here?"
It's so true. Like it's like you play like obviously Rash. You play a morphing toad. You play a monster literally cut in half that has two different fighting styles. You have like robot velociraptor, werewolf.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's just
like
crazy.
Ghost
And
pirates,
you look at
Skelly
Mortal
Man.
Kombat, and you're like,
he's Spinal. Yeah,
Spinal. And in Mortal Kombat's probably close second in regards to character design, but still, it's like Monster with arms and legs. It's like okay, like
yeah.
I'm trying to think who else is a bit unique. Vampire, I suppose.
It's funny.
Rotaro probably is interesting it gets, but he's a cameo, so it's like, oh, okay.
I also think the crossovers are really cool. Like some of the best work the Mortal Kombat do it with their crossovers, and I think Killer Instinct did a really good job with their crossovers. With General Ram and
Rash,
Arbiter and Rash. Yeah.
Again, they were all like Xbox stuff as well. Like I think an Xbox fighting game. You know what I mean? With all the Xbox characters.
Yeah, right.
Sick.
Well, this is like the second part of the conversation I wanted to have. Me and Tim have had the conversation before, and it's been an ongoing conversation. But now, like ABK has actually gone through, and there's actually a real possibility that there might be a Killer Instinct 2. Probably not anytime soon, because Iron Galaxy were the guys behind. So Iron Galaxy originally did I think they took over from Double Helix. Double Helix like made it, and then Iron Galaxy took over and did all the servicing because Twin Helix went. I think it's Double Helix. I can't remember. Anyway, they did most of the development, and then they went off to do Rumbleverse, which died. You know, I think it was under Embracer. Can't remember. I might be getting some details wrong here. So anyway, it's looking essentially like Phil's picked up the phone and said, "Hi guys, I've seen that Rumbleverse is, you know, not doing so hot. You know, I will write you a check. You come back, get us an anniversary update, start working on Killer Instinct 2. Got you covered for the next few years." You know, they would jump at the opportunity because, you know, they'd have been looking at redundancies. So I think there's a real possibility that there might be a number 2. So, you know, begs the question, who would we like to see? You know, now that we've got everyone that we've got, all of the Xbox game studios, all of the Bethesda game studios, all of the Activision Blizzard King. I'm going to start with Soap McTavish.
Come on, really?
Nice, dude. Yeah.
That man with gun. That's
Yeah,
like-
I know.
Man of gun. I'm joking. Fuck Soap McTavish.
I want
Go on.
Corvo from Dishonored.
Yeah, right. I think that'd be a cool
That'd
one.
be sick. Like blinking
Yeah.
at like to cross you up and
Yeah, turn into a rat swarm.
stuff that'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds cheesy and obvious, but I mean, and he's man with legs and arms, but I wouldn't say no to Master Chief. Like that would be epic.
Yeah.
Like you got to throw Master Chief in a fighting game. You just have to.
Yeah.
But then
He could have like
I think
sticky
Arbus
plasma grenade moves
cooler.
and shit.
Like I just think Arbus is cooler.
Yeah. No,
I
cool.
was thinking, is there another villain that kind of fits like from the Halo universe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a bit
flood.
monstery, isn't it? Killer Instinct. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
exactly,
flood.
it
Yeah, a flood inflected
There we go.
Spartan.
There
That'd
we
be
go.
cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to think
What
of
could I
someone
have
else.
I always thought Senua would be a good one from Hellblade. You know, we've got Hellblade 2 coming up. Like, I think that would be really good.
Killer Instinct already has like a Viking character in it though.
Oh, okay. Maybe a skin then.
Tusk, I think his name is. Can't quite remember. But they've already got that kind of character, so that might be quite tough to insert.
Sure.
More characters. Ooh, I'm
I
excited.
don't really. I don't really know if any. I'm thinking of Blizzard characters, but they're a bit too. They feel a bit too like upbeat, don't they? Yeah, fucking Tracer. Yeah.
Give me Tracer in a fighting game.
Lilith from Diablo.
Lilith, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's not a bad
perfect.
shout. Yeah.
And there's like World of Warcraft guys as well, like Lich King,
yeah.
right? Like, Lich King is like the big icy boy.
Yeah. He is.
There's plenty of like Bethesda ones.
Doom guy.
Yeah, Doom guy.
I know I'm just picking all the men with guns right now, but
Be...
they would be cool in a fighting game. You cannot tell me Master Chief and Doom guy wouldn't be cool in a fighting game.
Yeah, and it would be such an easy W. Like, you know, like I think this is the one opportunity that another fighting game has to generate the same amount of excitement that Nintendo does when they do a Smash, you know, with Smash, and they have like a new character reveal. Like, because Xbox has such a big catalog now, you know, join us for the next Killer Instinct, you know, direct. Where we'll show you the next character, and everyone's speculating, and you know, there's loads of stuff going on about who's it going to be, what's it going to be, you know, Dragonborn or fucking
It's Conker, mate.
Conker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Banjo Kazooie.
But I thought it'd been done in it. Like,
in a fighting game? Since when?
yeah, Smash.
It was a Smash.
Oh yeah. Literally the game we were just talking about.
Since when?
Master Chief has been done in Brawlhalla, hasn't he?
I think he has, but he was in a fucking, wasn't he in a Tekken? He was in a Tekken a while back, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Soul Calibur? Soul Calibur. He was in a Soul Calibur a while back.
Geralt was in Soul Calibur. I'm not sure if Chief was ever in Soul Calibur. He might be.
No,
Spartan was. It
Link,
was Linda.
You just Google it.
Kratos. Who's the Microsoft one? Because each version of it had a console exclusive, so it was obviously Link on whatever Nintendo had at the time. Can't remember.
Yeah.
Kratos for PlayStation. What the hell was Microsoft?
There was a Spartan. It just wasn't Chief. It was. I'm pretty sure it was Linda. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the
Couldn't
blue,
get the
blue
right
team
Chief.
guys. That's right. Is it hard to man, that guy? That Chief guy? Jimmy Cheeks, Jimmy Rings.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, it's fucking possibilities are endless, right? With this sort of stuff, and I really think they could make an exciting service game with Killer Instinct, and that would cover the developers for years. That would cover them for years. So I hope that does happen one day. And yeah, I'm more than happy to sort of jump back on it and sort of give it a go. Because me and you, Tim, we had a stint on it, didn't we, 5 or so years ago, and we had a good time. Even though we didn't super understand the mechanics, we got into it, and it's fun.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
Yeah, I'll be happy to dive back into it.
Okay, how are we doing? Okay, lovely. All right, if you're still with us, or if you're listening after the fact, can we remind you, give us a rating on whatever service you're on. Go to YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Why not? Caden literally bought a microphone for this.
That doesn't pay for itself.
Please, it doesn't pay for itself.
Yeah, it's true. Bought a microphone to go with his sick PC gaming setup. Is that coming in the new year? Is it? I can't remember when you said it was coming.
It's coming Christmas time.
Oh.
And then come home for Christmas. It won't be set up until after Christmas.
Oh, Sag.
But nearly there.
Sag.
Sag. All right, quickly to cover the Game Pass for the month. They did a Christmas drop, announcing the next month, and they kind of popped off. They had Far Cry 6, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Remnant 1, Remnant 2, and then a bunch of other stuff, other notable things like Goat Simulator 3, World War Z Aftermath, and then there's still like 6 other games there that I haven't heard of before, but those are the headliners. Far Cry 6 alone is a big deal. I know, like, in the mainstream, people aren't really bothered, but the game keeps selling well. Like, casual audiences really like Far Cry's and Assassin's Creed's, the Ubisoft stuff.
We quite
so I just wanted,
Far Cry every now and again, don't we, Deck? And especially if it's Games Pass, like I'm sure this one is co-op. At least I hope it is. They're always a good time to jump on, and Deck blows me up for 7 hours, and then I uninstall.
Yeah, and I say, why the fuck don't you finish games with me?
Literally, Deck just spends his time thinking of the most inventive way to disrupt whatever thought or path you're on, and that's his goal in the game.
It's a good time. That's a good time. I literally have like a pamphlet of like blueprints of how to blow Tim up.
Oh, this one's too obvious. Like maybe if I
you'll see that coming.
I remember once, I can't remember which Far Cry it was, but a rhino was charging me down inside of a town or like a hill or something. And I thought, oh, it's just a rhino. I was like, why is it aggro though? Obviously, it got near enough to me, and it had C4 attached to it. This is ridiculous.
They're just hiding in a bush or a tree.
Man actually suicide bombed a fucking rhino in my direction. Like, how did you even do that? There are so many fucking
it's a skill
things. They are good fun though.
Yeah, they are good fun. And I'd never buy I'd never buy one full price, and I'd never play them back to back. But 5 years between them, yeah, okay. But also, having said that, Avatar's coming out in 2 weeks, isn't it? Or maybe next week, and that's looking a bit Far Cry. And actually, it's looking kind of good. I watched a couple of previews. I think it's looking kind of good. I think it's probably going to score in the 80s range. But I think in terms of being faithful to the
world,
the films, I think they've done a great job. It looks and sounds so good.
Yeah. I would agree.
Even if it was
I don't know. There are still a couple things in there that kind of trigger me when people are reviewing it. They're just like, oh yeah, it still has the same Ubisoft stuff, outposts and points of interest and all that all over the map, similar stuff. I'm literally just like, oh. As soon as I hear that, I'm literally just like, they just can't move away from that formula. It's like they just put a new skin on it. I get that they might have made a very in-depth jungle and combat and the world's a bit better, but they can never just move away from just this whole fucking just outposts, and then you scan and you find more, and then you unlock more of the map, and it's always the same.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right, what we've got next? There's a couple of other things here, but I think in the interest of time, when we've passed them, I did want to just quickly touch on, because there's got to be something we can say about it. The fact that GTA 6 is getting revealed next Thursday. They dropped a tile on Twitter saying trailer 1, blah, blah. and it's had like 10 million in views. You know, it's like fucking, and then everybody's like copying it, like as like kind of parodies. Like, you know, it's already kind of having an influence on mainstream media, and it's not even been revealed yet. So
It's kind of
thoughts on
bonkers,
GTA
though.
6?
That is a big deal.
Yeah,
It's a very big
like
deal.
it's got like a live countdown on YouTube. Like it's just counting down right now. Like,
Oh, does it? That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it because all they've been doing is just making GTA 5 better. Like,
Yeah.
like it would be interesting to see what they do. I mean, how many generations has GTA 5 been across?
All of them.
Oh man, it
360,
came out like
Xbox.
came out like
Yeah.
2013, didn't it? 2012 maybe.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
I guess I'm just more interested to see what they can do to make GTA 5 even better. Do you know what I mean? Other than making it look pretty and whatnot. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is crazy because, as you guys both know, I only played GTA 5 fully through the story for the first time, like earlier this year. And you know, I had a really good time, and it is like, as much as like a lot of the stuff they do is quite superfluous, like they make loads of mini games. It's like you can play fucking tennis, and there's like buttons for like top spin, and you can play like snooker, and you can like do all this sorts of shit that they've just built into the world as part of a simulation. It's like that doesn't really need to be there, but it is, and it's just like kind of impressive, like the amount of simulation they've built into their worlds. You know, in the same way like Bethesda, well, obviously not the same level, but like Rockstar do it better. But like the NPCs have schedules and they go to work and they come back. You know, that sort of stuff happens in Bethesda games, but then they go one step further with all this additional stuff. And it's like you can't deny that even today that shit's still impressive. Most devs don't even bother going that far. Like Red Dead 2 is the same thing. It's like even if it's not necessarily for the game, for the experience and the simulation, and you know, it is just impressive. So I imagine they've probably gone one step further with that. You know, like the NPCs fucking try and sell you something like in real life. Your phone rings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it for sure. I wouldn't have been excited for GTA 6 had I not played the story through for GTA 5 earlier this year, because I do think Rockstar are some of the best, probably the best writers in the industry. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But also I don't think they're going to be able to live up to the hype. To be honest with you, I'd put money on it.
It's tough.
I mean, it's probably the most hyped game on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly is.
You know, not forgetting that GTA 5 is the most profitable media product ever made. You know, more than any movie, any piece of hardware, it's the singular most profitable piece of media ever made, which is nuts. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. Okay, very quickly wanted to touch on before we get away from our honourable mentions here. Let me just quickly check chat. No, we good. Joaquin called us sluts. Hi, Joaquin. If you're still listening, fuck you. Hope you're doing well. Love you. Halo's got its next update soon. I just very quickly wanted to skim over the top of this. I was talking about this in a party last night, that the amount they've sped up the frequency of their updates is a bit boggling. Like, what the fuck were they doing beforehand? Like, what was the
Management,
previous
bro.
management doing?
Yeah.
What were they doing to that team? Like, I was joking yesterday that
Yeah.
they must have been like sucking the life force out of them. You know, there's like beams of like blood, like red, like in Redfall, where you know, there's like, and all the devs are like fading or like pale and skinny, like on their desks. Like, what was happening? Like, how can we be at like the third major update in just this season? And this is going to be the mid-season update. They've already said, Tim. So yeah, well, both of you, but I know. So you know, the equipment, firefight, and more, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the repair field. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the change in 343 is ridiculous. And I think it kind of bodes the question that everyone has been asking themselves of like why this game didn't actually get nominated for the like ongoing like category.
Yeah, a bit harsh, isn't it?
A little bit savage. I haven't, like, I genuinely have not seen a quicker and like turnaround since like major changes have made than like 343. Like, it's given me some real like Sea of Thieves vibes. Like, genuinely, like I think this game could actually be pretty legendary at some point if it keeps on the sort of track record it's the trajectory it's on now. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. And it just goes to show what shaking up a management and senior staff team can really do, because it can not only does it get out the people that obviously weren't doing their jobs properly and all that, but it just gets rid of like that whole toxic environment. It remotivates employees to be like, yes, I do want to turn up, I do want to work and make this product better. A lot of them probably were in a rut as well, so when these changes happen, yeah, and it shows, man. Like, I'm really happy for them, and they're getting such good buzz online, and people are talking about it, and people are coming back, and yeah, I still want to play Halo Infinite, and I mean, I think this is the longest stint I've wanted to play Halo Infinite and have played Halo Infinite. I think this is longer than the stint I played it when it first came out. So they're definitely doing something,
Yeah, and I think it does speak volumes to what you said. Like when we had that reporting from Bloomberg, right? Jason Schreier doing his reporting on like what was going on at 343. The reports we had were saying that there was basically just a lot of indecision in the team. Like there was different there were different teams within the team who were like prototyping different things and they weren't really moving forward, so there was like this lack of coherent vision over what was happening. And I guess management was kind of feeding into that a bit, like try this, keep trying this, when really they just kind of needed to agree on something and move forward. And that seems to be happening now. Like we previously said, the guy who took over Master Chief Collection when that fucking bungled back in 2014 is now leading Infinite. So he's still kind of picking up everyone by this collar and like, no, we're doing it my way. We're doing this. And it's clearly, it's paying off because the pace of content is really good. In my opinion, the stuff they were actually adding to Infinite, the quality was always quite good. It was too slow, man. Like it was just, they needed to, and they're kind of there now. We've been saying that for ages, haven't we? Like once you need to start hitting this cadence, and we're kind of there now. So yeah, no, good for them. I'm with you. It's nice to see how that's kind of unfolding. And I am curious how things will continue to develop. They're testing. There's been this regular complaint about desync for a while, like the network code. With the Firefight, they're testing out a new network model in Firefight to see how it works in a safer environment in PvE. And if the response is good, they'll start building it into PvP. So that's good, exciting for a lot of people who've really found that very, very bothersome.
It'll still take a while to change the entire netcode for a PvP game. It's going to have to be phased in pretty slowly. Like that's probably still like close to a year off. You can't make a change like that lightly, otherwise you might just break your entire infrastructure.
It sounded like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but on the blog they put up, it was they were quite restraint with expectations. So like if this is received well and we think it's working well, then we'll start building it into the PvP environment. It sounds like, I think you're right, it probably is 6 to 12 months away if they do agree with that. But it's good community response, right? They've been on it in terms of listening to what the community want. So okay, right. So onto the big boy things for this week. There's 3 things really, I think, mostly 3 or 4 things. So I think maybe if we start with the Game Awards. Spoke about that last time we were together, having a chimwag. But this time we're more speaking about what's happening with Xbox. If you guys check your emails, you probably got an email too, but I think everybody who's on the mailing address got an email from Xbox saying, and you'll see it's on page it's like halfway down on the notes, page 7. Celebrate the best games of the year and the big winners live at the Game Awards on the 7th of December, along with important announcements and other Xbox news that you don't want to miss. You may remember last year, Xbox was not present at the Game Awards. Loads of people fucking freaked out, and then Developer Direct was a month later. It kind of feels like they're prepping for some stuff here, some announcements, some reveals. I don't know. So I just wanted to put it to you guys, like, what is there something you're expecting or would like to see, sort of realistically, at the Game Awards? Caden, I'll put it to you.
Hellblade 2.
It's got to be, right?
It's that simple. Like, just
bish bash.
Yeah, like if they, because obviously with that announcement as well, there's that Hellblade 2 kind of, what was it that was also released with that? You put in the chat in regards to Hellblade 2.
They announced the Xbox Series X and Hellblade at the same Game Award showing.
So like, I'm ready. But to be honest, even if it's just like a sequel of any of their major IPs or a new IP, I'm just kind of excited for it anyway because I know they've got a lot on the pipeline at the minute. So many things in the pipeline. It could honestly
It could be a lot. Yeah,
collection
that's right.
It might not just be one big announcement. It might be. Was it last year they did Was it that showcase where like everything here is within 12 months kind of thing? Was that last year?
Oh, that's a good question. Was that last year? No, that
No,
wasn't
it
last
was
year. That
the
was
year
it
before.
was 22. It was 22,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Because they fucking missed
Yeah,
loads
they-
of the,
they
of the
fucked up on
targets.
that promise. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
wondering
yeah.
if they're gonna do something similar where they're like, here's everything we're working on at the minute. Also here's Hellblade 2, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping for something like that again.
What are you wanting to see if they show Hellblade 2? Like, what are you wanting to get out of that?
Not necessarily a date because I understand delays and stuff nowadays are pretty likely. I would like.
Give me a date.
I would like. I mean, yeah, obviously, I would love a date. But if they just said 2024, I'd be like, that's it. That's all I need.
I mean, it's going to be 2024. We already know that. He's like, hold on up anymore. I just can't. I can't get my hopes up.
So I'm excited for that. Yeah,
Cool.
just some dates. Because I was trying to think. Well, we don't have much dates for anything really next year, do we?
We don't have hard
March,
dates.
There's not really much.
No, in terms of Xbox releases, we know there are lots of things that are 2024, but we don't have hard dates for like any of it yet.
So I would like to see dates from a lot of things.
Cool. I'm particularly wanting to know like the actual structure of the game. Like, what is it? Is it the same as the first one? Because that would be fine if it is. First one was like, I like the structure of it, or is it like a bit more open, or is it a bit more like, what's the theme, what's the horror, like, you know, what's the combat like? That's been the big talking point. Like, a lot of people want to know, like, is the combat improved? Does it have more depth? Is it like more RPG? And a lot of people are kind of, as the conversation is going on, a lot of people are kind of saying, well, I don't want like more RPG or like God of War combat. Like, give me like a couple more things that are going on, you know, another layer or two.
She's not even like a warrior. She's not. I mean, she is, I guess, along the journey, but like,
yeah,
she's not. She isn't a fighter. She isn't a big, scary, beat everyone kind of character. So to be like adding skill trees and be like, you can now teleport behind people and launch them in the air. You're just like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah, fucking air juggle them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
like,
like, I don't want that. So yeah,
so,
I'll be interested to see where they take it because they could just do the same thing again, but I guess make it a lot more narrative focus, I suppose. But then you have to develop it in some way. So it'd be interesting to see what that is.
Which is what I'm expecting. Like, I think it's just going to be, and I mean in the best way possible, more of the first game. You know, I consider the first game to be a really unique experience, so that's, you know, not a bad thing at all. And I think they probably have heard the community and probably have fleshed out the combat in some way. But we'll see. So yeah, Hellblade 2 maybe with a release date. Okay. Tim?
Yeah, I'm thinking along the same lines as Caden. I think with the pedigree of Hellblade, I'm thinking, you know, it was first revealed at a Game Awards. I think they might just keep that tradition going and give a release date for it, give some more information on it, and put that in the Game Awards. But I'm also kind of thinking we might see some more Avowed as well, because I think that game's actually closer than we think. And I could see that game coming out, you know, first half, if not potentially first quarter, you know, something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get a pretty nice look at that and maybe a release date as well, which is closer than we think. Because I think Avowed is quite a big deal. And Obsidian are fucking great. So yeah, but I'm not sure if it's just going to be like lots of information on. I don't think they're going to do too much. I think if Xbox are going to reveal anything or give a release date or anything like that, I think it's just going to be like one game or something like that. Like, they're not going to go crazy. They're going to want to save stuff for their own platform, their own directs and stuff like that.
Good point.
So for me, I think it's a toss up between. I'm really flammy, dude. I think it's a toss up between Hellblade 2 and Avowed for me. I think.
Interesting. So this is really fun, like interesting stuff. Like how fucking great is this, by the way? How great is this? No talk about ABK, no talk about court cases, just talking about games, Xbox games. How fun is that? We actually have games to talk about.
It's
Woohoo!
pretty
What a
great.
good time. Hoorah! Yeah, so I mean, obviously the stuff that we have announced is Hellblade 2, Avowed, Flight Sim 2024, and Towerborn. Those are the 4 games we have announced for 2024, and our History Untold, which is going to be a PC first release, but a Game Pass published by Xbox Game Studios. So 5 total, but I don't think we have release dates on any of them. So any of them are possible. Like Towerborn could be another thing, right? And I think you're right, Tim. I don't think they would show lots. I think we'll probably get 1 thing, maybe 2 if we're lucky. But then I also do wonder, like, I think about that leaked roadmap we got like 2 months ago. You know, when you first came on the show, Caden, and we kind of went over that leaked, there were those massive leaks, and we looked at kind of the roadmap. There were a couple of things that stood out to me, not just in terms of software, so hardware as well. And one of them was like this idea of a refresh, like a mid-gen refresh that didn't up the specs, but it had a couple more bells and whistles, not just in terms of the box, the console, but the controller as well. Do we remember that? It had updated, had some haptics in it as well, and some other funky stuff. And I just wonder, curious, like, would they show that here? Maybe they've shown the Series X there before. And I think Xbox have gotten into a habit of like wanting to just talk about games in their showcases and not talk about hardware. You know, barring a couple of outliers, like they talked about the watch in the direct, the Starfield watch. And I think they've talked about a couple of controller colors, but I think that's like maybe an interesting possibility. I mean, would either of you be interested in would you trade your Xbox in for a refresh, a small one with a couple more bells and whistles, or again, like maybe a good controller if they made an Elite Series 2, but an updated version with the bells and whistles, the haptics, the put down to sleep and the pick up to wake. There's a couple of other things in there as well. I can't remember, but what do you guys think?
You can go, Ken.
I mean, I'm not hugely like fast because if you've got the Series X, you've got the PS5, you've got a PC coming, so I'm not hugely excited for an upgrade. However, if they did offer some kind of like trade-in kind of like thing where it's like, oh yeah, just give us your old Series X and for £100 you can have it, I'd be like, yeah, why not? Go on then. Something like that I'd probably be interested in. And especially with how like transferable all like the series, you know, the Elite 2 controller and stuff like that. Like, it would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I think I'm very much in the same camp. I mean, I'm in a position right now where I mean, I'm like moving into my new house in like the next couple of weeks or something like that. Like I think I might have a date for that. So like I'm in the process of setting up like my own little man cave, my own little gaming room, that sort of thing. So like if these things drop and you know they're actually all like dropping near the beginning of the year, you know, it might be something I'm quite interested in just, you know, replacing and adding into, you know, my new little setup or something like that. Especially if it's not going to cost me an insane amount. I mean, I'm not tight on money at the moment, so I could afford it, but like I just don't really feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm the same with Caden. If they offered some sort of scheme or like there was something, because I mean obviously they're still struggling to make Series X's anyway, right? So like if there's some sort of scheme to get you in and, you know, get these back for parts or whatever, and you can get money off this, and or the price range just generally isn't that ridiculous, yeah, I very well might consider it. And I'm always in the market for a new controller. Yeah, a new controller would be great with haptics and yeah, put up wake up sleep, all that sort of stuff. If they just have general improvements over the Elite, which no doubt my bumper's on its way out already.
Any day now.
Exactly. Any day I wake up, cold sweats. Today's the day. Today's the day the bumper goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always looking forward to something like that. Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to. I think it'd be quite cool to see some hardware as well. Plus, I've always really liked, white versions of consoles. So like it'd be cool if they did like a mid-gen refresh and like they had like a smaller like Series X still tower looking thing, but in like a nice clean white or something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Caden was not impressed with that. Caden was
Yeah.
not impressed
I
with that
like it.
preference.
I like white
Like-
phones. I like the
maybe
white
see my entire
consoles.
desk is black, and then in the corner, further away, I've just got this bright white fucking spaceship of a PS5.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the PS5 is ugly as sin, but like
Yeah.
generally, I'm with you. I'm not gonna have like my whole room white. I just think technology looks quite clean and white, like phones, like watches, and yeah, like consoles and stuff like that. Like I actually like the Series S. Like I think it looks really cool with the black and white tone, like the white and then the black like grid on it. I like it. I think it looks sick.
If we left it up to you, you'd be like Squidward, wouldn't you? When in the future, when everything's like chrome.
Everything's chrome. Well,
It's
chrome's
like,
different to white.
Future.
Yeah,
There's a bit of extra sheen on it.
But yeah, so that'd be kind of cool for me. Yeah, I definitely would be opposed to seeing it. Yeah, be quite
Cool. All right. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so that's the hardware stuff. The software stuff is, again, following those leaks. There were like 3 things that they had lined up, like in, I think, sometime around 24. Some of them were even 23, right? So stuff that obviously hasn't released but's been delayed, that stick out to me. And we already know Matt Booty, who's, managing the content at Xbox Game Studios, had said there is some more unannounced stuff for 2024. And we don't know exactly what he's referring to, if it's like a first party release or more deals, in the vein of Stalker 2, which by the way got an announced a release window for Q1 24.
Yeah.
And those 3 games I'm talking about are an Oblivion remaster, which we've spoken about before. We don't know the degree of this remaster, if it's more remakey or remastery. We don't know. The leaks were that it was kind of like 2 engines running at the same times, not dissimilar to Halo, the Halo 1, the anniversary they did, where you could press
Okay.
back and go between old and new.
Yeah.
So sounds like it might something like that. Indiana Jones.
Mm.
And the other one is Doom. Those were the ones that were in like kind of this time frame. So I do wonder if this is like a platform they're going to use to like give us a release date for something we already know about, or to show off something like new. And I do feel like if there was an Indiana Jones trailer ready to go, this would be a good place for it, because the Game Awards attracts so many viewers. Like it would catch the mainstream. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm.
So just throwing them out there, but because I think it would be interesting as well, like if they gave us something new and then they had a developer direct in January again, they could just give us 5. They could just knock out 5 games with 5 release dates.
Yeah.
Hellblade, Avowed, Towerborn, Microsoft Flight Sims 2024, Ara, and then let's say Indiana Jones. I think that was 6 actually. So anyway, yeah, that's I think that's quite curious, but we'll see. Exciting stuff.
Mm.
So many games, too many games. Xbox has too many games.
They do.
All right. Okay, let's move on to the next bit then. So this whole like kerfuffle happened in the last few days, guys. Where the CFO of Xbox, not Microsoft, of Xbox, so underneath on the org chart, underneath Phil Spencer, was in an investor call, so not speaking to the public, but in an investor call that was made, it was could be listened to, it was public, and said something to the effect of, we want our first party games on as many screens as possible. Not totally new. We kind of know Xbox want to do this thing, but then he said, including former competitors like PlayStation and Switch. And it's just fucking weird. Like everyone, it's, like, what are you talking about? Like, I find this a bit strange, because I think this starts to really muddle the messaging that they're trying to put out. Like, are you Xbox and Game Pass on a bunch of devices? Like, are you Xbox that are extending outwards, or are you not Xbox? You're just you're just Game Pass everywhere, because that's different. Because on the latter, I don't need a console for that, and that sucks. Like, I don't want that. So we had that, and then just to give you the second half of the story, Phil Spencer then had an interview with our boy Jez Corden over at Windows Central, Today, yesterday, sorry, presumably to clear that up. There were lots of other details, but one of the takeaway points just for this topic is that he said there are no plans to bring Game Pass to Nintendo and PlayStation. So I just wanted to quickly throw this to you guys because, like, what does this? If that was going to happen, because like we really, there's a bit of reading between the lines here going on. Um, like, what are your thoughts on this idea? Like, this is the general question and the general topic. What are your thoughts on the idea of Xbox like opening up their ecosystem to putting their games on everything? And like, does that keep you interested as a fan of Xbox or as a consumer? And would you ditch the console if they opened Game Pass up to Switch and PlayStation, if they would even accept it, which they never ever would? But just as a hypothetical, like, would you then ditch the console? Tim, if I just throw it to you first, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite a weird one. I'm just trying to picture a world where that happens. I would definitely. I think I would lose interest a little bit in the brand overall. I think there's something I like about them having their own identity and their own section, and there's Xbox, there's PlayStation, there's Nintendo. It just becomes messy if you blur it all. And then I also think that means that they're gonna start focusing less and less on hardware and just start bolstering software catalogs to push onto all other platforms as well. So that also makes me think, why would I continue to invest in something that's clearly heading in a direction that doesn't have hardware in mind? So yes, my next console will probably not be Xbox. It will probably be, I'm selling this and I'll finally commit to a PC, or I'll just get a fucking PlayStation so I can play all their games plus everything on Games Pass anyway, right?
Exactly.
So that's definitely the sort of camp I'm in. I would prefer it if they kept their own identity. I'm not opposed to seeing some of these games make their way to other platforms, but just not everything, right? Just like a section of Games Pass, or like some sort of ones that work well on these consoles or something like that. But there's no need to siphon off the entire thing and just lose your identity completely. So, yeah, no, I'm kind of not on board with it. I think I would lose interest in the brand overall, and I'd hop on when I know there's like a big release or something like that. But the whole like, I play for this platform would definitely, cease to exist. So yeah, I wouldn't be on board with it.
Interesting. Good.
That's quite interesting actually, because I could see, like, imagine like the Game Pass as like an app, like that could be transferred around between different devices, your phone, your PC, your PS5.
Well, we're already there, really, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't think I'd lose interest in the brand as a whole from that. In fact, I'd be a bit more confident. They're like that confident in their own, in their service, that they could put it on anything. But then I guess in order to stop, as in to like incentivize people to have a Xbox console, maybe you could have it capped a little bit in, like, maybe it just doesn't perform as well on the PS5, that game, for example. So in order to get 4K 60, you can only play on the Xbox, for example. Or
performance mode exclusive.
I mean, I don't know if that's legal.
That is a money fucking. That is.
But
I'm not
like
sure
that.
about that.
Patch bugs in. It's
Well,
like,
on your phone, some games have like touch mode, don't they? Like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it would be
like you can have features in there. Yeah, you could.
So I don't know if that's a bit too corporate, but like,
yeah.
I think that's
I get your point.
Not a bad idea. Like, I don't think I would. I think it would be the opposite for me. I think it would be like they're that confident in themselves they could do that. Obviously, they're not going to.
Yeah, and I think this is some really interesting angles here, because I think like it would diminish your incentive to get a console, wouldn't it? This kind of idea, and this is why for some reason they just won't. This is the first time really that someone's come out and explicitly said no, like not happening. Like, we're not putting Game Pass. There are no plans to put Game Pass on any of these other like competitors' consoles. And really, if you think about the viability of it, like it doesn't really make sense. Like, PlayStation don't want, like, there are overlaps between what's on Game Pass and PS Plus. Like, PlayStation don't want people playing on that and then eating into their profits, or playing Xbox games on the play. So it doesn't make sense. They would never agree to it anyway. But there has been, like, since Xbox has taken this angle, since like 2018 with Game Pass, with open like access to their library, there has been this kind of worried angle that Xbox are going to go third party. Like Sega did back in the day. They stopped making consoles, and now they're just a publisher. Because, as we all know, like, hardware is kind of a loss maker. Like, you lose money on producing hardware. You make the money on the software through the hardware. You could argue that all the other things they're doing are to offset that: subscriptions, monthly active users, what used to be Xbox Live Gold, now Game Pass Core. So while it seems like this isn't going to happen, like, some of the, like, they needed this, because, like, you can't have people just thinking like, are Xbox about to ditch the console? Like, they really need to double down. Like, it's my opinion, they really need to double down on the messaging. If they're serious about offering a console as one of their family of devices, then they really need to double down on, like, that we're not going to stop making consoles. Because, obviously that would suck for me. If that ever did happen in a far future, that, it'll suck for all of us, because our library, unless we bought into something else, our library would vanish. So the other side of it is that, like you said, Caden, yeah, like, they are opening their catalog to all these other all these other devices in a way that really nobody else is, and that's the angle that Xbox is kind of going off to do their own thing. PlayStation is remaining this dedicated platform, just console, where only console purist. Nintendo is fucking Nintendo. They do weird experimental shit. Who knows what they're going to do next? And Xbox is like, we'll come to you. We'll come to you. We'll bring our games to you, as long as it's on mainstream phones, PCs, consoles, maybe some other things. Right, yeah, and handheld PCs are like kind of coming into their own now, aren't they? Asus ROG Ally, Steam Deck, the Legion, the Lenovo Legion, that's what it's called. And that is quite an enticing angle, and I think a lot of people get that and want that, but they just don't want it to come at the expense of losing investment and innovation in the console space as well, right? So that's the worry. So I'm glad this happened, because it did worry me a bit when this happened. I was like, oh, guys, like, yeah, I don't think you should be saying this. I think you need to think a bit more fucking carefully about this. Like, this is the sort of shit, coming back to the beginning of the episode, this is the sort of shit that got you in a mess in 2013 and 14 when you couldn't get your messaging right about the Xbox One. So, it is what it is, but I'm glad that this kind of happened and came through. But and I guess, just to tie in one of the other stories, Xbox opening a mobile store. Like, I wonder if you guys have any, like, particular thoughts on that, on this idea, that Xbox want to make an app so that you can access their mobile games. Presumably as well, they might take it a step further. It's interesting how Game Pass could build into that. Like, will they make native phone first party games, like how iPhone are doing with Resident Evil at the moment? Like, that's a possibility. For now, it might just be for now it might just be the Warcraft stuff, the Hearthstone, the Candy Crush, and that would still be a good catalog. But, like, I'm just interested to hear what you guys think. Like, does this turn you off that Xbox are, like, going mobile as well, and even to have a native app, or is this like, oh, cool, Xbox really is getting everywhere? Like, what do you guys say? Okay, if I go to you first.
I think I touched on it a tiny bit in what I was saying earlier, like how some you can boot up the Xbox app and you can play games off from your Xbox on your phone, and some of them are, like, perfectly made so you can touch the screen and, like, slice it around. So if you could integrate the Microsoft App Store with the Game Pass in one way or another, I mean, I'd certainly be interested. Definitely.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting for me. I don't know how they would obviously tailor, I guess, mobile games to games. You know what I mean? As in, like, to actual games, but yeah, I'd be interested, certainly. I mean, even Netflix have done all right. I think some Netflix games are really good. So it's subscription kind of based mobile game services do work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it is super interesting, because, like, as well, if you think about, like, why they want to do it, they want a big slice of the pie, that is mobile gaming. They make so much fucking money, man. Like,
it's crazy.
They essentially, the idea is that the games, they will rip games out of the App Store, and put it into an Xbox
Mm.
store, so they can have all of the revenue. Because like Apple will take a cut through, and same with Android. They take a cut through the Play Store through Google. And there's been loads of court cases against them, but they just keep winning. So everybody just has to pay this massive fee just for existing on the App Store. So Xbox would just want to be like, no, like we want to do it through our own store, and they would have a really strong lineup, and that's without the actual like console game, the idea of console game ports that we were talking about. So really fascinating. Tim, what do you think? Does this idea of like an Xbox store on phones and tablets, does that do anything for you? Interested or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only positives. I think like you said, it might be a step in the right direction for like that industry, and it might actually just help sort of blow up mobile gaming a little bit bigger than it is as well, in terms of like getting more. It might be a bit more friendly towards like indie developers that don't, like you said, don't want to pay those prices to get on the app stores and stuff like that, so they can just be welcomed in open arms by Xbox, as they build this catalog of games, from indies and bigger ones as well.
Call
Yeah,
of Duty Mobile.
yeah, it's huge. Somehow it's fucking enormous. I don't get it, but yeah, like there's a lot of money in mobile gaming, um, and yeah, I see it as only kind of a positive there. And yeah, like you said, if that bleeds into sort of Games Pass a little bit more, and maybe getting a bit more native work on getting proper mobile ports or touchscreen controls on a lot more games and all that sort of stuff, then sure, I'm all for it. Yeah, no issues here.
It's super. It is super interesting because I think, like, supposedly this is going to be starting to materialize next year. Um, but I think this is one of those things that would be a real turning point. Like, if they nail it, the store is responsive, it has a good list of content in there, everything just kind of works, and maybe there is some actual Xbox integration, achievements, things like that. I think that might be a turning point in terms of the perception of like this vision that Xbox has of Xbox being everywhere is really coming together. You know,
Mm.
um, on your phone, on your tablet, on your smart fridge, on your smart TV. On your console. Yeah. So I. I especially in like the public perception, because at the moment we talk about these things and we're like, oh yeah, on the Steam Deck. People don't know what a fucking Steam Deck is. People don't know what cloud streaming is on their phones. We do because we're the hardcore core audience, but most people don't. But most people would go on their app store, download an Xbox app to play Call of Duty Mobile. To play
Yeah.
Hearthstone, to play Candy Crush. So that's where I think it would really start to kick in. So yeah, really really interesting stuff in terms of the direction that the brand's going. Okay, so there were a couple of other things that came out of the interview, which is really the last bit of news that I wanted to touch on for today. It's on page 6, I think. It's like a big block of text, and you should see a picture of Philly looking really smug.
Oh yeah. Love him.
Um, so in the same interview with Jez, where he said that there are no plans to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and Nintendo, he said a couple of other things which were really, really interesting. And actually, just sort of tying these two segments together about the mobile store and some of the newer stuff in the direction of the brand. One of the things he said that bringing in the mobile store makes me think that the cloud stuff is getting a bit it gets a bit reductive, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Like why people, and maybe that's kind of a future thing when like phones are like twice as powerful as they are now already and can easily play these first party games. So maybe that's not a now thing, but even then they've invested so much into cloud streaming, and I do wonder like if there is a tipping point where they're like, this is no longer worth it,
Mm.
especially with like PC handhelds becoming more of a thing. Like I do wonder, and one of the things he said was, which is why I bring it up, is that the most cloud usage they're seeing at the moment is people using cloud on their consoles. So like playing games without installing them, or people on old gen playing new gen stuff. And I thought that was really interesting because I actually, when I think about it, actually I do that quite a lot. Like I boot up indie games and will like cloud stream it. Like if I don't want to commit to the install time, I just want to try it out. I just thought that was a little interesting tidbit.
It's quite interesting. I don't think
I
I've ever
forget
done
that
that.
feature exists. Yeah,
Hmm.
but I scroll past it on the Game Pass all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, right now it's not really something I can do with my internet connection, streaming of any kind, really. But yeah, no, it's nothing it's something I've never really done before. Like, if anything, I'm actually quite the opposite. Whenever I think of cloud streaming and stuff like that, I instantly my mind goes to mobile and playing on the go and playing portable or playing somewhere that isn't my home. That's kind of the only way I see it. But yeah, quite interesting to see that people do it a completely different way and only that way. Yeah.
Well, there were some times I remember you were pressured into streaming Master Chief Collection for custom games
It was
like in the last few
dude. It
years.
was so bad, and like, that was back when I had a fine connection as well, sort of like a 50, 60 megabytes. But when you stream a game like that, it doesn't work, man. Like, for some it does, like Persona or like an indie game, like you're saying. But for a full-fledged online first-person shooter, it just doesn't work. Yeah, my screen was like wiping like pixels like every like 2 seconds and stuff like that, and yeah, it was like a delay on the buttons and all that. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use cloud in that regard again. But I could definitely see it makes sense to a lot of people, like you said, and like how you do it as well, just to like try a game. You know, like if it's on Games Pass, you don't want to commit to the install time. At least right now, you could try it for 10, 15 minutes. You can still get a vibe of a game, even though there might be an input delay, or you can see it's a bit fuzzy or whatever. You can still get a vibe of whether or not this is something you want to do. But I still think that's quite niche. Like, at the end of the day, it's not. It's also not a big deal. Just chuck something on download, try it. You don't like it, you uninstall it. Like, that's not the end of the world. So it's still relatively niche.
Okay, cool. So, bouncing into a couple of the things that Phil brought up here, then, one of the things he said, quote unquote, there's a hardware roadmap, there's a service roadmap, and maybe there's even a roadmap for improvements to Xbox achievements. I thought this was a bit interesting.
That's very
I think
exciting.
the community has been talking about achievements for a while, and that they've kind of been stale for quite a bit. The last big improvement I can really think of was that they added the rare achievements. And it gives you that like
little diamond.
Yeah,
ooh,
lovely sound,
ooh,
which was great. A
yeah.
great fucking change.
Yeah, that was it. Like, I don't even know when that was, like 2017 or something. It was a long time ago. And in some ways, like trophies on PlayStation have overtaken achievements, which is crazy because achievements were such a big deal. There's other things that the achievements do that are quite nice. Like you can always see the rarity of them, like how many people have completed them. That's quite nice. And you can like filter by secret ones and ones you've locked and stuff like that. So yeah, it's fine, whatever. And you can look up, like from the menu, you can look up guidance on how to get it. I've done that before, and it'll just search for you like for that. So like in particular, people want like a platinum achievement, the equivalent to show that you've 100%ed something. And I do wonder, and this is actually, I'm fucking pissed. Sorry, change in tone. I'm fucking pissed. They've been nerfing silently Microsoft rewards.
Oh no.
Oh, you're a proper rewards main.
I'm a rewards main. No, I'm a rewards main. It's part of my soul. It's really part of my soul. I've got 185k points.
That's insane.
Isn't like a fiver worth like 5,500 or something?
So it's about 180 pounds worth of currency. Yeah.
It's unhealthy.
That's not even real.
Gotta get those streaks, mate.
What do you do with those points? What's the point of having that many points?
I'm going to get to probably about 250 pounds by the end of the gen, and then I'm going to get half off on the next console. Or I'll buy a game. Who knows? I just like seeing number go up.
Or you'll buy the next gen console.
You're not supporting Xbox with that, just so you know.
What?
Like you're giving them less money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Give them real money, man.
Yeah.
No.
Just don't feed your kid.
I'm giving them my time. I'm giving them my data. That's what they want.
I don't know.
So anyway, what I was saying was they've been nerfing it, like they've been like taking shit down, which I'm really pissed about. I'm hoping it's because they're making some overhauled achievement system that incorporates like loyalty points. You know,
That would be
PlayStation did this
really
PlayStation
cool.
Stars thing a while back, you know, and I thought that was great. Good. There's a bit of congruency there. Like, you know, it's fucking coherent. It makes sense. Because before it was like, here's Bing rewards, here's Microsoft rewards, here's Game Pass streak rewards. And it's like, what's a man got to do just to like get a bit of cash back? So yeah, I hope this is all related because there's such a golden opportunity there to actually get people, especially as now their targets are monthly active users rather than like console sales, like you know, the
Yeah.
traditional way. You'll get people more monthly actively using, you know, by giving someone a quid, thank you, when they get 100G, you know, they get a certain amount of gamer score. So
Get real G's.
Yeah.
real G's, fat stack, cheddar.
Yeah. That's what it just comes up with. Yeah. You platinum a game, it just comes out cheddar. We added cheddar to your account.
Your bank account pops up on your phone like, oh.
Check your account. We just put some cheddar in there. Oh god. That would be really cool to see though. I'd love to see an overhaul of like achievements and yeah, like a bit of giving back on the achievements as well. And yeah, most of all, even if there's no like incorporated into point systems and getting money back, which would obviously be great, but I'm with you. It'd be cool just to have that seal to say that you 100% of the game, like a PlayStation has the platinum trophies and stuff like that. Like, sure, we have the number that says 100% on it, but like, it's not the same. Like, it'd be cool to have like a big old stamp on it. It's just like, oh wow, yeah.
Maybe like display it on your profile and be like,
yeah, exactly,
yeah, games kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing that me and Tim have like been whining about for years. Like all the social features of the dashboard have been gutted, and like don't get me wrong, like I think the new dashboard we've probably got comfortable with it now. But remember, we got a dashboard overhaul this year. It's been lovely. Like it's great. I can see my background. All my game tiles are like nice. You know, it's great.
Looking at it, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's great. You know, they've done a really good job with that. But like, still, like, where are my social features? Like, what have you done? Like, give it back. Like, and let me show off. Like, because they overhauled the avatars and then they didn't do anything with it. Like, really weird. And then they then they got rid of the activity feed. Like, you have to dig if you want to see your mates like recordings or like achievements that popped up. You know, like let me have that. Like that, let me have it. And yeah, like pin things like that. Like I'm proud of this achievement. Like you used to be able to do things like that, but it's all I don't know where it is now. You know, so I hope really this is an overhaul of all of that. But if it's just achievements and Microsoft, you know, like reward points for now, fine, I'll take it. Okay. Apparently the family plan is still in the works. We kind of had all assumed that they'd kind of, you know, tested it in the market and gone, we're going to lose too much money on this, but it's still in the works apparently. So maybe one day we will become, you know, family members. By coincidence, we find out that we are related, and then that would be quite handy. So we'll have to see how that goes. Reviving old IPs, not just across Bethesda, Activision Blizzard, or Xbox. He spoke about really just waiting for the right time to come. The big one that he name dropped is Banjo. Any Banjo bros in the chat? Any here?
Yeah, I love Banjo
really?
Kazooie. I used to play them all the time when I was a kid. That'd be great.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's nice.
Thanks, man.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, I don't know. Probably Kazuki. That's his name, right? I'm kidding. I'm taking the fucking piss. Yeah, I don't know. Probably. But yeah, no, it would be cool to see.
What about Gruntilda?
No, I
didn't even know about Gruntilda this kid.
I hate that little witch.
What about you, Caitlin? Is there anything that you can think of that you're like, man, I would want that reviving? Something that's from like Activision's Cemetery,
Too Human,
Bethesda's Cemetery, Xbox's, you know, like there's a fucking lot, right? There's Rare's old stuff.
I mean, I was gonna make a comment on that. Like, I think the Rare catalog is a very good space to just kind of be like, because they do lots of like Rare kind of collections, don't they? So I
Mm.
think just a little rare collection would be quite nice. Maybe just like a up all of that.
I mean, there is a
I know
rare
they're all on
replay, isn't
Game
it?
Pass. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'd have to do some looking back because I mean, I wasn't really playing games until quite late in the Xbox 360 era.
Mm.
So like, I don't really have that kind of really big nostalgic kind of. I don't know. Look back, I suppose. So I was a PlayStation 2 kind of guy. So.
Well, I mean, some of the other big ones, right? And the thing is, we have already got like some of them announced, right?
Mm.
Like not in terms of just rare, but like Perfect Dark was a rare one. Fable was obviously an Xbox one, but then like Conquer was another rare one. You know, so we've already had Battletoads. And then we spoke about like Activision Blizzard, haven't we? Things like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, things like Guitar Hero. So yeah, it's just kind of a time and place, really. It sounds like they're kind of open to it, but it's like we've got to find the right team and a team that wants to do it, which is the last thing you want to do is dig up an IP from the dead and just like pin its corpse up to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to ruin the legacy at the same time. Yeah, it's dodgy ground.
Yeah. Viva Pinata? Huh?
I'd be a bit of Viva Pinata.
I never played it.
They're weird games. I never fully understood it, but they were quite fun.
That is one of Ridge's favorite games. Just
is it really?
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, he does. He loves it. Yeah, I never fully understood it, but they were good fun. I liked it. I liked the vibes. They were great.
I'm really hoping Everwild has like Viva Pinata energy because wasn't it like a god game? It was a god game, right?
I think so.
Like you like
no one knows what the game is, but I think so.
Oh, it's just its own thing. It's like a pinata genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I think really that was the gist of the big stuff. I think he did mention that we didn't have long to wait in terms of hearing more about Hellblade 2. Probably should have mentioned that earlier, but he mentioned Game Pass allows them to support different styles of games. Smaller stuff, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, Pentiment. We knew that already.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it, guys. That's the content for today. Any sort of closing thoughts? Any insults you want to hurl? Anything nice you want to say about Phil Spencer? Really anything.
He's got a great jawline.
He has a good jawline, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's about it.
Caden's got a good jawline.
Caden does have a good jawline.
Going on.
Do you do any jaw exercises, Caden? Aside from sucking dick.
No, I can't recommend anything over that.
that's the peak, isn't it?
That's
peak enjoyment, peak exercise. Can't be it.
You want a jaw like this? Get a sausage in there. All right. Okay, cool. What's the fucking date today? Oh, we were throwing around the idea of doing a live stream for the TGAs, weren't we?
Oh yeah, a watch along. Yeah.
We were throwing that around. It turns out Caden said he might be drunk. It's a work day, so I'm pretty confused about that.
Sweet, nice, Caden.
Slight confusion. That was this week.
That was this week. Great.
So,
I was drunk when I told you that. It was last week. All right.
So it's on the 7th, which is on Thursday, really late. I'm off on Friday, so I'm actually good to go. Tim, if you can, that'd be ideal.
I mean, I'm not off Friday. How late are we talking?
It starts at 1.
12, yeah.
Fuck.
Half 12, yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, it's like a 2-3 hour show, isn't it?
Yeah, about around that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be a no from me in that regard, because, yeah, I'm working the next day, so I can't really stay up till 3-4 a.m. I mean, you and Katie can still do it. I'll be happy. I don't know in terms of sending over the template or anything like that, but yeah, I think that might be a no from me, dog.
Shame.
It was a shame.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do. We can't make any promises, but if we can, I'll let you know on Twitter, everyone, if we're going to be live streaming the TGAs. But if not, we'll be there on the Sunday to kind of talk about it.
Oh,
Nice.
Mm. Okay.
he doesn't know, does he? No.
What?
No.
Oh,
Nothing, man. That's fine.
Can you hear
All
the?
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. All right. Nice. Yeah, very loud sometimes.
Cool. All right. So yeah, Thursday's the Game Awards. So we'll see if we can be there for that. But anything else to say? Any other funny jokes about sucking dick or anything like that?
No, I'm all out.
All out.
No.
No. Tanks run dry. All right. Let's get on out of here then.
We are jingling right now.
Thank you so much for your ears today. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget, if you've hung around this long, fucking give us the old subscribe. Fucking hit the old likey. Yeah, I'll see you later.
Why do you look like you're in
Either
pain? You look like you've got some trapped wind. All right. Anyway, bye, Ron.
Mind you.